All right. So basically, when you unhook from the truck, you can control this up and down manually here. I don't think it has one over here. So you can run your fronts here. So say you want to lift it up off the hitch about, ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch, so you have enough room to get the truck out and clear everything.
Okay.
Once you get it to that level, get your truck out of the way, make sure it's not underneath the trailer. You can come over here to auto level, and you'll hit auto level, the front will level itself out, and then the rears will start coming down.
Okay.
Once you push that auto level, it remembers where your front end was when you unhooked. So when you get all done and you're ready to leave, make sure your slides are in, but then you can hit hitch height. It'll bring up these 4 rears, and once you hit auto level, it programs it and it remembers where that was.
Okay.
So you can hit hitch height, and it'll go right to the hitch height that you need, and then it'll basically be ready to hook up.
Okay.
Back right into it. And then you lower it up and down to get it onto the truck. Just make sure it's locked on the hitch.
Great.
And then just remember, if you hit retract all, it's going to bring up all 6. So the nose is going to go all the way down. It's not going to hurt anything, but just remember that you don't want to do that usually.
Okay.
Basically, all you're going to really use is hitch height and auto level.
Okay.
Make it so easy. And there's a little sticker here that kind of helps. And there's also YouTube videos for Lippert Industries that have a lot of info on these. They come out with all sorts of videos. So if you ever have like an issue or something, or you can't figure something out, go on there and they'll explain it right to you.
Okay.
I always tell people that because there's a lot to take in on the walkthrough, and they don't really give you a user's manual with these things.
Okay.
So I got city water hooked up right now, city water connection, and this is kind of a confusing little thing, but they show you where to put the things. So you got dry camping, that's water from the tank via the pump, so you turn those levers to match this picture. All these levers here, and it'll siphon water out of the tank. Then you got city water, which is what we're doing right now, and you just put those where that's at. And you also have a winterize function, so you can put a bottle of antifreeze out here, you turn those to where they need to go, turn on the pump, it's going to siphon water in. Then you can siphon water to the water tank and sanitize it.
Okay.
Then there's a power tank fill that fills it up pretty quick. So yeah, there's just different options you got to do here.
Do you know how often I should sanitize it?
I would say, depends on use. It depends
Okay.
on how much you're using the thing. Like, if you're using the toilets, both toilets, because it's got the 2 toilet bathrooms, I'd say, a couple times a year. But I just put chemical in this, so when you're going home, he told you about the tanks.
Yeah.
The level.
The floats, yeah.
Yep. And they'll get stuff stuck on there on the sides, and I put chemical down there, so when you're going home, it could correct itself.
Okay.
I'm hoping it does, because I tried 3 different times dumping this thing, and it's not easy to move around the lot with a forklift.
Okay.
You can also fill up your water tank here. It's got an auxiliary, but I just use this one. I don't know why they put an auxiliary one in here. It's crazy. And then your black tank, and then your gray tank is here. One of them's here. These right here are low points. So with the water turned on, and you can see the water come out hot and cold. So low points are basically the lowest point of the water system. So basically it's when you're winterizing and stuff like that. What I do is I open up all the faucets, hot and cold, open up these, pull the little plug out of the water heater. They're stubborn sometimes. This is the plug, so you drain those out, and then I actually hook up to the city water with I have a hose that's cut off, and it has air fitting on it, so I can blow everything out. I hook it to compressed air.
Okay.
And I really, on this one, since it's got a filter, the big water heater, all these lines back here, I recommend having someone that, unless you get really good at winterizing, having someone that does it. Because we do like a winterized special during the fall, and then during the springtime, it de-winterizes free, and we also do like roof check.
Okay.
So it'll check the roof and the sealants and all that for you too. That's all free.
Got it.
But yeah, it's got a water filter wrench here, and you just slide them on.
Is that a new filter in there, or do I need to change that out?
I think that's the old filter, but it looked pretty darn clean.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna turn this on. This has got like a little external shower. Whoops, sorry. Hot and cold. And you don't have to shut them off, but I recommend doing it. This also has a brand new water pump in it. I just installed it yesterday because I didn't like the way the other one was working, and it was leaking out the bottom, so it's a brand new water pump.
Cool.
brand new pump, and I did a few sealant work, and I did some stuff to it. So I mean, it really didn't need much though, because this thing was actually pretty clean.
Okay.
You got your furnace, and the furnaces basically they're propane operated. So you need a good batteries and propane to operate them.
Okay.
The best thing to do when you're lighting this thing or anything on gas is you go in and light your stovetop. That stovetop will purge all the air out of the system, and then when you go to light something, it's going to light right off.
Okay.
Yeah, you need 12 volts of propane, and I'll show you where the thermostat for this is inside. It's just a push button thermostat.
Okay.
So you got your water heater here, and there is a tank directly back behind here that fills up with water. So say you got the city water hooked up and turn it on, it's going to fill this tank up. If you turn on the water pump, same thing. And as you use water out of it, it's going to refill, go down and refill, go down and refill, just so I can keep creating hot water.
Okay.
This is the biggest tank I think you can buy. 12 gallons. This is one of the biggest water heaters you can buy.
Okay.
So you'll get a decent shower out of this.
All right.
I mean, those 6-gallon ones, you have to like spray yourself down, soap up, shut everything off, and get your washing done, then turn it back on, then you basically have enough hot water for a shower.
Okay.
These ones actually work pretty good.
Awesome.
It is electric and propane. So it has the propane side just like the furnace. You can ignite, push a button inside, it'll ignite a flame in this burner chamber, and it burns inside the tank, and that's what heats up the tank on the propane side.
Okay.
If you're plugged in with your shore power back here, your main power cord, you hit the button inside, or this button right here, keep that on, and that's a heating element like a house. So it actually just uses electricity to heat up the tank, so you're not burning propane. But if you're dry camping or something, you do have a generator, and basically, yeah, you can use the generator to fire up the 110 to do the element if
Okay.
you're doing that too. So you have a lot of options in this thing. So
Okay.
this is your shore power cord here, and these things just thread on there. They got a little disc that threads onto the thing, and then it only plugs in one way, but the Furion's on the top, just
Okay.
where it says the brand name. That's your generator exhaust, and we'll fire it up when we go inside. There's a dump station here for probably the front black tank.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Or the black and the gray will go into this one, so you got your handles there. Always dump the black first, kind of get all the gross stuff out first, and then dump the gray. It'll kind of rinse out the hose, and always just keep that in mind, because you don't want it to do the gray, then the black, and then you'll look at the hose and it'll be nasty. So.
Gotcha.
So that's your hood fan vent cover. So like when you start the fan when you're cooking inside, that thing will release air so it's not blasting right down on top of you.
Okay.
This is your refrigerator air intake, and it vents out through right there.
Okay.
So it's got to pull that air in and circulate it for the cooling unit.
Is
you
there?
don't have to do anything out here. It's all controlled from inside.
There's no filter in there or anything? Okay, cool.
It has a little fan that pulls the air through up and out.
Okay.
So that's how they do that. These things do open up, and I'll show you how to do it in the garage. They're to kind of air out the garage area. There's one on each side so you can get a flow of air going through there.
Cool.
And yeah, you got your leveling jacks. I'll show you how to put all those up. These 6-way leveling hydraulic, they're awesome. They really kick butt.
Cool.
And that's what I like about them, is they are basically one button. There's 2 buttons, and then the on and off, and then you have your jacks up and down on that. And there's a touchpad. You can do it all from inside too.
Okay.
Yeah, you got another hookup here for your rear black and your rear gray, because it's going to have a gray and a black for the sink and then it's got a black tank for the pooper.
Okay.
So this is your fuel station, and it's got a gas pump, so that's your pump. You don't want to run them unless too much if you're not pumping the gas.
Okay.
We filled up the tanks. We usually don't, but it already had some fuel in there.
Okay.
We put the premium gas in it.
Awesome.
Because no one's going to want to have regular unleaded going through their toys, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, they gave me unleaded gas one time. I'm like, no. Yeah. So yeah, you turn your pump on, you pump your gas. This is going to be for your generator, and then this is going to be for the tank that's back here for the gas pump.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you lucked out. You got a full fuel tank.
Sweet.
We usually only do 15 gallons, but I had them top it off, so it is full. And that actual level meter for the gas tank, that one works.
Okay.
So it's just the sediment on the tanks, and then it gets stuck on the sensor, and it just creates problems. So hopefully that chemical I dumped down there this morning will solve that.
Okay.
Yeah, these things kind of have to be out of the way of the handles, and I'll show you how to put the door up when we go inside. And these things have a little disc that slides into the track, and then you just kind of lock it in place, go around, and then there's a, you can see it better when we get up inside, but yeah, it's got a door, and then the steps hook up to these,
Okay.
and they're right there. I'll put them on next here in a bit.
Okay.
They took them off to clean it. So yeah, here's the other one that opens up, and they open both ways. So your steps just fold up. So all the way up, you just fold, 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 and it goes in.
Okay.
It's hard to keep these steps clean after they clean them because everybody's walking in and out, you know. So I got a little TV, and I had it programmed this morning, and it goes, but the remote's inside.
Okay.
And external speakers, so you can control those off the stereo, and I'll show you that when we get in there.
Sweet.
I had this thing rocking. I accidentally left the stereo on last night because he went and dumped it, because we have to go down to like the rest area, and he was coming back in with it hooked to the truck. As I was leaving last night, I get here this morning, it was just rocking out. Had everything going. I was like, uh-oh. So it's got the solid step, and these things are pretty slick. You just kind of lift them up. To help it in. It's got a lock, but when you shut the door, it'll put pressure on it.
Okay.
And it keeps it from jiggling around. So, and they just release like so. And they have these little pins that come out, so you can change the height of the feet.
Okay.
If you ever put this out and you go to close the door and it kind of hits somewhere in here, lower the feet a little bit, just to make sure it clears the door. They're adjustable. So.
Okay.
Oh, this one actually came with a few things. So you do have a winterized hose from the previous owner. He
Okay.
made one up just like I have. This thing's a wand for the toilet. And then you got a thing for the lug nuts. But we check them and stuff, so it's all good.
Okay.
These are all the vacuum attachments. And when we go inside, I'll show you where the vacuum hooks up and all that jazz. And then you got your other propane tank here. And you don't really have to worry about this one. Just turning it on and off is really all you got to worry about.
Okay.
And some hydraulic lines, and there's a secondary regulator right here. So yeah, that regulator doesn't do anything. Basically, you just regulate what, because that line's so long, so you have to put it in.
Can I peek in there real quick?
Yeah. And that crank handle, I believe, is for the. Oh, I forgot that. So that right there is the battery disconnect.
Okay.
So when you're storing this thing, you can take that little key out. It only turns one way. And you take that key out, it disconnects these batteries from the whole system. Because if you don't have this thing plugged in, certain things still have a draw.
Okay.
So there's like your stereo phase, stuff like that, your propane detector or LP detector. That stays on because it's a safety thing.
Okay.
But you can disconnect those batteries completely and they won't totally drain down. Yeah. And just remember, if you want to charge them back up, you got to have that key in there so they're connected to the system. So when you plug that shore power cord in, it charges them.
Okay.
And they don't basically turns up, flips out.
Okay.
It only goes in one way, and that's reconnected.
Got it.
So yeah, just make sure that's in there. If your batteries aren't charging, check there first.
Okay.
Because I didn't know. Usually they don't put them in the compartment like that. And I went up and I had like a couple. I was low voltage when I first started. I'm like, why isn't this thing charging? And I was up here testing the breakers, and I go, oh, that one doesn't have power. And then I look around here, and it was a disconnect. So
Okay.
that was my bad. But we got it going.
What are those two guys right there? Just
Oh, so that sprayer on the other side is disconnect. You can disconnect it and hook it up here, so you have a sprayer on this
Sweet.
side.
Yeah. Nice.
Washing station, and then that's an outlet.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Well, AC power out here. That's great.
Yep, those outlets you got to be plugged in or running the Jenny to use them. So just remember that.
All right.
That's gonna be your marker lights up front,
Okay.
and then solar charger. So it does have a little hookup for a solar charging station.
Okay.
Basically, plug it in here. It'll put a charge on the batteries. So yeah, and then it's vented because there's batteries in here. We have to vent them. I think I have to put the top back on this one. That's the one thing I forgot to do. Yeah, I gotta screw them back down. That won't take more than a minute. I'll get these resecured for you.
Okay.
Because I was messing with them. So yeah, you got your batteries. and I load tested them. They seem to be just fine.
Okay.
So, and they're not expired yet. This is your hydraulic pump for your jacks, right here.
Okay.
So just remember, don't add fluid because this thing isn't low right now. It is not.
Okay.
You bring up your jacks, and this thing's going to refill back up.
Got it.
So I've seen people go, oh no, and then put hydraulic fluid in there. Then they put their jacks up, and it pops this off and overflows everywhere. So just remember,
All right. Good to
when
know.
the jacks are down, this will be low on fluid. When they come back up, it'll refill.
Okay.
Because it's all in the lines right now. You got your generator, and these are awesome generators. Got a start stop right here. You don't have to. You can do it from inside too, but when you're holding down the stop prime, it's priming the fuel tank or fuel pump.
Okay.
Then you hold down start. And they like to have these faces on there when they're running. It's quieter too. So.
Yeah.
And they just pop right in. But kill that so we can hear ourselves. I'll turn it back on when we go inside. These breakers right here, if they're off, you won't be getting power into the inside. So just make sure they're on because power moves in waves, and if it trips a breaker, this is the first one you're gonna want to look at.
Okay.
Take this out. There's an oil dipstick on the end of this yellow thing, and then the air filters in here, and we've checked them, so they're good to go.
Okay.
And then just make sure that when you pop this thing back on, make sure it pushes in there like I just did.
Okay.
And then there's info on it down here. It tells how big it is and all that good stuff. But it can pretty much run everything in here. It's the 5500.
Okay.
It's really huge.
Watch your head.
Yep, I know.
We're looking out for you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I also have. There we go. So much stuff in my pockets here. And they do pretty much every lock on the whole entire rig, so you'll have 19 keys for a rig.
Okay.
I like how they do that on these ones. Set up in here.
Oh, fancy.
Shit.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah, they're really nice. I like these Grand Designs, they're pretty slick. Got a bunk up there for the kids. So, this thing right here is basically your hub. And I'll reset it here. Oh, there we go. Monitor panel. Come on. Really just okay. Quit touching things. See, I pushed it too many times. I just want to cancel you. Reset. I pushed too many buttons, damn it. Stupid technology.
It's going to be worse for me. Technology hates me.
Let's be patient with that for a sec.
Okay.
I've been pushing buttons too much. So yeah, you got your keys. This thing has like booklets for pretty much every appliance in here. Hitch stuff. So when you buy like a microwave or something, they give you the book. That's basically what all this stuff is. So you got all that. Stereo. So we got A, B, and C speakers. Inside, A is going to probably be these ones. B's outside, and C is probably in the garage. But you can have them all going or pick and choose which ones you want on there. But just remember, you got a CD, and this is a DVD player, which is wired to that TV. So you can pop a normal DVD in here. And
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They put these combo things in most RVs these days because people don't even realize they're DVD players now.
Okay.
But it does. It has a USB stick, so you can put a lightning stick in there, or like how you have the smart TV things. And then it's got headphone jack, AM, FM, CD, DVD. So it does pretty much all of it. Just storage. More storage. I believe the converter is right here. So, converter's here. This is basically where your main hub is for like your breakers and your fuses and all that good stuff. If you ever have an issue with something not working, this is one of the first places you're going to go.
Okay.
The 110, what this thing does when you plug in your shore power cord over here is it starts charging your batteries up front. This is the thing that's doing it. Yeah, you got 110 breakers, and they're labeled, and then 12-volt fuses. These fuses are a standard auto fuse. There's no difference. They're just the square bus style fuses. And, you know, just if you ever have an issue, check here first. But yeah, this is the thing that's sending a charge to your batteries up front. So, yeah.
So when he's hooked up to shore power or hooked up utilities at a campsite, can he run all 3 ACs if he needs to?
Depends. If you're hooked to 50 amp, yes.
So usually when you go, it's 30 or 50 amps, so you want 50 amp for this.
Yeah, because some parks have 30 amps, some parks have 50. If you have to downgrade, absolutely not. But if you're plugged into a true 50 amp, then yes. But just fire them off one at a time, because when they fire, the compressor's fire and it draws more amperage. So that's why you start one at a time. And yeah, just a true 50 amp, that's the only way you can run 3 at the same time.
Okay.
How about with the generator? Will that run all 3?
I believe so. Because it's big. I mean, most of them usually are a 45, but that's a 55, so I'm pretty sure it'll do all 3. Microwave, you got to be plugged in to use them. It's just like a microwave, and I think, nope, this is actually a convection oven too.
Yeah.
I really don't know the difference between the two, to tell you the truth. I think convection cooks it like slower and better, not as high temp.
My wife explained it to me not that long ago, and I still don't remember what it is, so it's fine. She knows, so we're good.
There you go. And it has a, exhaust fan and the light. So, these things, make sure they're down when you're traveling. They're glass, so just make sure that's secure. So basically, like I told you, if you're lighting anything on gas, come over here and do that. Once it turns blue like that, you have a nice blue flame. It's ready to roll.
Okay.
You can fire off anything. I had the heat going this morning already, but I pulled the tank to fix that strap out there, and it might have had a little error, but no, it doesn't.
Okay.
The oven, you can turn it to flame right here. There's a little flame right there, and let me see, this one has an igniter on it. Yep. So you can sit here and just push this button in, because no gas is going to come out until you push that in.
Okay.
These get error, so you kind of have to mess with them for a second. There you go. You can manually light it. Tell you what, the cleaners, I'll get that cleaned up for you. Switch it back off. Igniter. Okay. So once you get all that air out of the lines, you can kind of see it in the
I see the pilot light. Yep.
Yep. So it basically click it. Once you might have to do it a few times, but once it goes off, you can turn up the temp, or goes on, and then it'll flame all the way out. Just remember, it's an RV stove, and it's raw propane flame. So keep an eye on what you're cooking in here.
You want me to cook a Thanksgiving turkey in that thing?
Well, a small one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it
That's
chicken.
why you get a deep fryer for
Thanksgiving
outside.
chicken.
Yeah.
Exactly, deep frying. That's way better too. Oh. You can get a small bird in there. We cooked a goose in one time. So my buddy has our Class A, but it's basically the same thing. We had a goose in there, and yeah, it worked out.
Nice.
We actually we were duck hunters.
Yeah.
So we're out in the boat one day, and we saw this injured goose, and we're looking around like looking for other. This thing lights up. It's got the plug-in indicator for the 110. The little drip flame thing is for propane. You go through your modes. That's auto. So the auto side on this is the plug-in with the little propane mark. So if you're plugged into shore power or running your generator, it will sense that power and go to electric, so you're not using propane.
Okay.
If you just go to electric, it's going to go to electric. If you go to propane, it's going to go to propane. And then you got your temperature selector. Okay. I always run them all the way cold just to make sure.
Okay.
She's nice and cold right now.
Okay.
Super simple. They make it super easy to operate. A lot of this stuff is just like 1 or 2 buttons, and there you go. This is your TV remote for here, and it also works for the one outside.
Okay.
You can turn this one on and then walk out there and turn that one on. It won't affect it. I tested it because there was only one for some reason, and some RV companies only give you the one.
Okay.
It's really weird.
Is there a filter above that thing?
Inside those black things inside there, those are little filters, and they're washable. So you can just pop these little white things down. You have to get a step ladder and basically clean them out. And then these, I'll have to get a step
That's
ladder.
all right.
If you close those up, it'll push it out to these registers better.
Okay.
So that's just blasting most of it right down here.
Okay.
Some's getting out to the registers, but if you close those little things on the AC, it'll push it out better to the vents.
All
But
right.
if you want this, if you leave them open, this room gets really cool really fast.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the TV. You got your fireplace. I'm only running one, we should be fine. So yeah, it's got the little fireplace.
And that runs off electric and propane as well, or?
No, this is straight electric. So you do have a source of electric heat. Kind of have to sit down to see the controls. Kind of turn it up. Kind of change the brightness of the logs.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's got a little remote for it. Pretty slick. Yeah, and these are massage chairs, so they vibrate and have heat. And you just touch them, turn on the heat, turn on the massage.
Bro, I don't know how far we're gonna get tonight, but tonight sounds like a whiskey night and relaxing.
That's right. So it will pull antenna channels, but they get spotty, especially here because of this metal building. Oh man, it hates it. And I had it going for a while and it was working, but this morning it started shorting out probably because of all the clouds we're getting. But like I said, you got a DVD player. We'll try a different channel. That's not very good today.
It's all good. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you just gotta find a channel that's not gonna be bouncing off, but yeah.
Ooh, that's 10, I think.
Is it?
Oh, there.
Yeah, you can get some local stuff, you know. So you can get some local channels, man. These things are
There's
addictive.
really good TVs at TTLs.
They're not bad. They're better than the ones they put in the small trailers, I'll tell you that. They're way better. Like, you go look at one of these Rockwoods, and if it has a TV, it's one of those, you know, $60 TVs, the cheapies. These ones are better. Actually, in the fifth wheels, they put a lot better appliances and stuff like that. They upgrade everything because there's so much room.
So I heard you say he's got like a little manual for all the appliances. Is there a manual that comes for the trailer? I mean,
No.
overall.
That's the whole point of the walkthrough.
Okay.
And the problem is like, I wanted to write some info down and like do a book on it.
Using a white sapphire instead of a diamond. Our natural sapphires are hand selected for their heat by Tom Sheehan II. That's one way.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah. Pretty damn sweet. I'm getting a little anxious. Like, that's a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's gonna take you a while before you figure everything out. You feel comfortable.
2 tied at 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So just so you know, I believe that ramp there with the cables where in the position it's at right now can hold about 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
So the cables are awesome. I mean, they're like bridge cables they use on those things. They're heavy, heavy duty. There we go. Yeah, if you lift that upper bed up, it's going to help you get that pin through. It's just a lot easier to do.
Okay.
Will you hit that bed lift, touch it down there?
Oh.
Yep, right there, perfect. And sometimes you have to mess with it like I just did. You just and then you kind of pop it through. Make sure she goes all the way through. I'm gonna definitely need it clean. And these also drop.
All right.
Let me do this first. I remember when they first came out with toy haulers, it was just like, what the heck are these things? If you need to open them, these pins come down. These just flop out. It's got a little latch, so if you're traveling, you'll have to latch that down when you're going. You just open up like so. Oh. What was that? Oh, there's my square bit. It was in my pocket. So yeah, it's got little pins.
Okay.
so. You see this little pin here? You got to watch out for this, otherwise it'll hit. It won't release
Oh,
it.
okay, I got you.
So yeah, just got to make them give some love. And it pulls them up like so. And it's got a latch on the inside.
Awesome.
Yeah, this has actually got a spring down through here that actually helps lift this. So when we put it up, I'll show you. They're really not that heavy, but they hold a lot of weight. So, and to put it down to the ground, pull the pin down here, and then you pull that pin, and it just floats right to the ground.
Okay.
Like I opened this thing up, and I pulled on it, and it slowly came out. It didn't like fall at me because it's got a friction, kind of like a garage door spring thing right there.
Okay.
So yeah. What's that rolled up thing for? It's the carpet for in here. So they give you the carpet, but 90% of people don't even use them because this is like the garage area. So yeah, it's got the second bathroom, and these toilets have a foot flush on them. You can kind of fill up the bowl,
Okay.
flush it down. Where you guys going tonight? Are you
Probably Salem.
nice? Going down to Oregon?
Yeah.
You gonna stay at like a park or something like that?
I don't know yet. We weren't sure how long this was gonna take, so I've got a few options. So we're just trying to get back to San Diego is all. So.
Yeah, you're right. We had a lot of people coming up and buying rigs from California lately.
Because they're more expensive down there.
Well, yeah. We're one of the cheapest RV places around, man. We have lower prices than everybody around here too, but we do a lot of business.
That's awesome.
It is good.
Yeah. You guys
So-
are booming.
There's an automatic vent in here too, just like the one in the kitchen.
Okay.
Vent up, turn it on, turn it off, vent close, and a light switch. And it's got an outlet down here, and then a toilet paper holder, and then your sink. Yep, so that's about it there.
All right.
We'll get everything secured before you leave and make sure it's all good.
Is there somewhere special to stow those ladders?
Not really. When I
Laying
first
down.
came in here, they were tied to the floor with those straps there. So you can kind of do that. You just got to kind of set them down and find a spot for them. Unfortunately, you'd think they would make a spot, but they don't. Any RV dealer, they give you these ladders. Door, they have them right in the garage, and I believe there's one up front. You've got to have them right next to a door. So, yep, TV hookup. So you got all your scare lights, porch light, lights there.
What's the scare light?
It's like I believe it's like the one up here outside, like the porch light.
Okay.
Different names for them. And then you got your awning retract for the side awning here. And they wash those awnings the best they can. They after a couple years they do get a little
Black.
little black. Yeah,
Mine's
but
got it, yeah.
we got the rear one pretty much looking brand new, but there was a little spot. They worked really hard on them, so.
Great.
Okay. That's how you open these.
Okay.
They have a little holder, and then they open both ways, so you can get airflow going through here when you're driving down the road. Pretty slick.
The thing about the awnings too is you don't really want to roll them back up if they're kind
Right.
of down.
Yeah, if you can prevent doing that, yeah, don't do that because you can't always prevent doing that. I mean, if you're in a hurry and you roll it up, it's gonna have moisture on it. Because especially up here, because this is Washington. I mean, it's non-stop rain. I'm so sick of it. I'll tell you that.
Well, you can come down to San Diego with us, dude.
There you go.
We've been in a biblical drought for about the last 30 years.
That's what I hear. Oh, yeah, to turn the lights on and off, it's just that little button right there on the stove.
Okay.
This thing comes down too, right?
Yes, it does. You got to put it in for the slides. So it's got these little things right here, and you pull them to the side,
Oh, okay.
and then that just drops down. And when you run the slide in, it won't hit the counter. That's why they did that.
Nice.
There we go. Now, I'm not going to push a lot of buttons this time. Let it do its thing. Once it wakes up, let it load up and do its thing. They're a little bit slow, but that's just because of the programming system. All right, one control.
Yeah. Watching water boil.
Don't even risk it. Yeah, essentially kind of a parachute, you know, it's just a big piece of fabric and the wind will catch them, so.
Okay.
And if you're gonna leave this thing for long periods of time, bring them in, don't leave them out. You know, just don't leave them unattended is what I'm trying to say.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's awning. This is going to be pretty important here. You can start your generator from here. Hold down the stop, it'll prime it. It's like on the switch outside.
So hold the stop first.
Yeah, well, the gears are turning. Give it a second.
All right. Sweet.
Yep, and that'll put power. We have the breakers on, so it has an automatic transfer switch in it, so you don't have to take the cord and plug it into like an outlet or anything like that. Within 30 seconds to a minute, it'll just switch over on its own if those breakers are on up front.
Okay.
And I don't want to waste your gas. So yeah, and then you just go back to get out of this. You got your leveling system here, but the easiest way to do that is outside, but I'll tell you right now, this gives you so much info. If you push up and down here, it'll tell you what the pitch is. We're level right now, so. But if you want to retract stuff, you hit retract, it'll highlight it. And like, we can bring up the rear, but we don't want to do that since the slides are out right now. And you got your extend, front and back, retract, front and back. It's got the auto level function here and the auto hitch, but I would recommend just doing that from outside. So, yeah. Yeah, that's about it on that. Where do I go back? Cool. It's got lighting. So all this will come up.
Oh, jeez.
You can turn them all off. Turn them all on. Pick and choose. Dimmable, which ones you want.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
slick. You can dim them all at the same time. Your monitor panel, which your fuel tank's full. That has no sewage in it. That's the one that's reading incorrect.
Okay.
So I put the chemical down. Hopefully, when you guys get somewhere, check here. Hopefully, it's reset.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't have the water heater on. That's why it wasn't getting too hot. I had it on yesterday though. So touchscreen, they'll highlight. So you got your water pump, water heater electric, and water heater gas right here.
Okay.
And then you can operate your slides. Bedroom slide up here, and then the main slide. These ones are hydraulic, so they'll kind of, one will start to creep in, then the other one will come in, and they both run off the same main slide button there.
Okay.
So just go to like the main slide, and then there's in and out. I don't want to run them yet though.
Okay.
We'll do that at the end. We do have another fantastic fan in here, just like the others. Vent open, vent close. And you got your lights. It's actually got a full-size shower, which is really nice. So it's got a little bit of storage in here. The toilet's just like the rear one. Basically just push down that,
Okay.
flush it.